All right, Reds, how are we? Welcome to Anfield Road TV. It's me and Kev. We're going to be speaking a bit about Anthony Gordon, a bit about potential new Liverpool signings coming into the football club in under the Arne Slot. Uh, New reign, to say the least. Kev, how have you been, mate? Obviously, we were just speaking before we come on air. You've been playing some games, getting a bit of games.
Yeah, doing a bit of catch up. I got about 15 or 16,000 gamer score of any of the Xbox heads out there in the space for a couple of days. Just kind of doing catch up, just going nuts. But I haven't done it for a couple of days. I'll do it again now after this tonight. But if anybody's around and wants to stick on and have a chat. But no, I've been doing well. Just kind of catching up on transfer news, looking at things, seeing actual transfer news and all of these ITKs you see on Twitter. You know my farm with them boys, anyway. So
you're the biggest ITK on Twitter.
Yes. You might be right. I don't. No, I'm not joking. No, I'm not. Nowhere near.
Yeah. So, Reds, or if you are watching on the repeat, welcome everyone. Massive thank you for tuning in. Get involved in the comment section below as well. The back end of the show, we'll be going through all the comments as well, people that have left comments on the last video. And yeah, we really appreciate all the support. Make sure you do head over to Kev's channel as well, whether that be his Twitch, as obviously Spider Gaming.
Irish Spider Guy.
Irish Spider Guy. And obviously Spider LFC, and of course the Kitmen. Which me and Kev, we keep on saying we'll do it this season, but we will.
We're doing it.
We'll get round to it fully.
It's coming on.
Oh yeah, well done Spain as well. Yeah, so yeah, quickly touched on that, Kev, as we spoke about 2 nights ago.
Never in doubt.
All of us in the chat, we all anticipated Spain to very much do the business, and yeah, it was typical England, Kev, under Southgate. You know exactly what you're going to get. The reaction from Cole Palmer, a very good goal, but I'll tell you what, for the quality within that England side, that should have easily have won the tournament. I know the defence, it's not as strong as certain other teams in the tournament, but the attacking line for England is probably one of the best in world football.
Which is weird enough, since it was probably his main attacker that caused him most of the issues of why the squad didn't gel when it came to attacking. The Harry Kane is a disaster to deal with when you're trying to play a team-based game instead of just knocking it up. For me, he drops back too often. He doesn't play to the. You see, I think I said it a while back, and Henry, actually, Thierry Henry said it himself when he was talking about Arsene Wenger and what Wenger said to Henry. And he said, there's no point in screaming at the players behind you to do this and to do that and whatnot. You have to adapt to the players behind you so that you know that you can finish anyway. So it doesn't make a difference. So, and the problem with Harry Kane is that he plays his game and he comes back, and where he thinks he's helping, he's actually getting in the way majority of the time. He's not playing the Spurs anymore. He doesn't need to come back that deep. He's got Rice and all of that there. You know, he, like as Henry said, he knew that Freddie Ljungberg would run in a straight direction, so he just had to run in front of him to leave him know he was there. He said he knew he could go anywhere with Bergkamp, and then he said with somebody else, he said that he just knew that he had to make a zigzag run from left to right, and the ball would be there. So you have to understand the people that are behind you and play to their strengths and not just your own.
Yeah, and one of those players, as you alluded to there, Kev, as we spoke about 2 nights ago, with Jude Bellingham coming off an absolute stellar league campaign, being managed by Carlo Ancelotti, and then you go into an international tournament of Southgate's quality or lack of their quality. Really, it's you can understand his frustrations due to the full-time whistle, very much animated, kicking the subs bench, which you can understand his frustration. I think if he would have won the Euros, I think he would have been easily the favourite to win the Ballon d'Or. Might still next year, depending on how the next 6 months do go for Real Madrid and England as well. But yeah, it's one of them, Kevin. It's a player of had.
I'll be honest with you, I think Jude needs to calm down a small bit.
Do you think he's getting too big for his own
boots?
I
think he's getting massively too big for his own boots. I can see it in his face. You know, you see somebody's demeanour. He always seemed like a nice, kind of respectful kind of guy, chatting about whatever like that. He's starting to go a bit.
Believe his own height.
Yeah, I think he's starting to go a bit that way. And I could see it. I could see the way he's acting with players. I saw it in a few clips recently from Dortmund before he moved to Madrid. And the way he was just effing and blinded his own teammates and calling them shit pretty much and all of that to their faces because they didn't make the right pass. And I've seen these clips are popping up all over the place. And you can understand the guy being frustrated or whatever, but you're only just in the side, you know. if anything, the fellas that are there a lot longer should be a lot more disappointed with the multiple times that they've missed out on the tournament. But to act like when somebody throws a tantrum like that, it's almost like they feel like the team is letting them down rather than that the whole team's been let down by themselves.
He's got to contribute as well.
Yeah, he's got to contribute. I didn't see him that much in the final, to be honest with you, man. I didn't.
It's even in the semis as well, mate.
Yeah,
I think we all see. Chat, let us know your thoughts on Jude there. It's a bit
good player, but he needs to get back to basics, especially if he's going to Real Madrid, man. So yeah, he's got to.
As you said there, Kevin, I think all of us are going to agree. Like, if he another parallel university did arrive at Liverpool, but he's obviously a young lad, similar to Foden as well. But you'd like to hope he will develop that curve and chat. But it's, as Kev's alluded to, when you're there in that position, you need to just communicate a bit more effectively, really. And obviously, you can get your frustrations, but it's just communicating that with your teammates and just trying to demand a bit more from yourself as well. I think everyone can do that from a personal level as well. So, big up there, Callum. How are we, lads? I hope you've had a good day, mate. Paul, Nico Williams will be a brilliant signing. What do you think, Paul? Great shout there, mate. But I think judging off this Euros from Spain, obviously getting the winner. I think it was one of the goals against. I think it was the winner.
The first goal. Second one was Ali.
Razabal. Yeah.
That's about it.
But he's one of them. It'll cost an arm and a leg, really. But I think, would you say, Kevy, a player of his quality, Spanish, best mates on international duty with Yamal, the youngster. I think it's more or less a foregone conclusion. I know a lot of people have linked Diaz to Barca, but I think you've got to go for the Spaniard. You'd have to debate Barca to go for.
If somebody wants to buy somebody from Athletic Bilbao, is what I'm thinking. So Bilbao is the Napoli of Spain, if you're going to call it that way. Notoriously hard to buy from, notoriously hard to deal with. They only promote players from within their region. They build a team from people that are born in Bilbao and live in Bilbao and all that kind of stuff. It's just the way they are. So
region.
Yeah, but the only reason that they're going to be able to sell it, like, why hasn't Inaki Williams moved in all that time? This is the whole point. So he stayed up because they like the club, they feel the club, that kind of. But Inaki Williams, Nico Williams, all that. Look at how much it took him to get Kepa out of there. He became the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, and he was nowhere near Alisson's level. But, so that's, or even All Black for that matter, to be honest with you. Just because you're doing well in one team doesn't mean you're going to do well in another team. You have to prove it. And he didn't. So the thing with the Nico Williams is that if he's still on a clause that hasn't triggered yet, that keeps him in there, then maybe. But no, I don't think so. Is he on a clause? I don't know.
Probably anyway. I think it's about 50, 60 million. But I think in regards
so if he's still classed as a U player with them, he could be that level because they really like overpriced their players.
Yeah, as you said, the price, and as Paul's comment there as well, mate. Brilliant player. I think a lot of people, when he spoke about not just Liverpool, but potentially Nico going to any club in Europe, it's about the wages as well, as Kev alluded to, the Basque region. Obviously, they get them from the academy, and that's why they can bump up their wages, because obviously they just generate a lot more, and the players, I think he's on quite a fair bit of money. So if he was to go elsewhere, added with tax, he will get a bit more anyway. So it's one of them. But I think he'll be a great career move for Nico if he went to Barca. I think having him and Yamal on the wings for Barca would be a very big step in the right direction post the Leo Messi era at Barcelona. But Jack, keep on getting your comments in anyway. Any questions for Kev or whatnot? Bit up there, Gary. How are we, lads? Hope you're well, mate. Jude is the best player. Yeah, big up there, Wiggs. How are we, lads? I haven't been doing any more plaster than have you, lad. You can do mine and Kev's if you want, lads, if you're free. Almo, yeah, very good player. I think Gary was linked with Manchester City this week, I think I've seen, which he's got a buyout. I think this week it might have run out, or it's very close to the deadline of his 50, 60 million pound buyout anyway. He's got a cheap buyout, but yeah, the policy. So yeah, 100% there, Wiggs.
Well, he says that did Wiggs clarify that, did he?
Yeah, he's got a cheap buyout. wages because yeah, there we go, 100%. Matthias, how are we, lads? I hope you're well, lads. It's been the apparent links between Nico and the Barca, but Barca finances aren't. Yeah, it's Alfredo Torres already. Yeah, prediction for Liverpool betters. Anyway, Kev, I think we spoke about this 2 nights ago. It's one of these, and we know what's going to happen in a couple of weeks' time, where we all not overreact, but we see a result that we don't like. I think I went to the friendly with Connor last season, and we got absolutely battered. Or was it the year before? Might have been the year before.
And, was that the Mainz one?
Oh. The big fella up front, and he the big, I think, was it Montpellier, and Canate got injured as well, like before the season. But that game, and everyone was losing the air.
I think it was Mainz, was it?
Yeah, I think
was it one at Anfield? Yeah,
it was the other French team. Whoever it was, everyone
was a French team.
Was very disgruntled anyway. But we'll go into the first talking points. Gordon, Kev, speaking of wingers, as we spoke about 2 nights ago in chat when we spoke to you, I think that's going to be a big point of call really for Liverpool, not just in this transfer window to come. It's going to be, I think, in terms of we spoke about getting the best out of Gakpo, Diaz, whatever his future does hold at Liverpool. He still might have a very successful, and hopefully he does have a very successful career, all of them. But I think the wide players and the way in which Arne Slot does play with his attack and wingers, cutting inside as well, contributing, that is, we'll speak about Salah in the next section as well. Is his importance going to go up? I think it will do under the changing of guard of manager. But are you a fan of Gordon? Chat, let us know you as well.
I am a fan of Gordon Johnson. I think he's a gifted player. I think he can cause damage in the right squad. I think he needs to develop a bit more, and because he can run all day if he can turn inside and all that, but I think his final ball is what lets him down, I think, for most people. So he needs to, if he works on that a bit more, I think, he could be handy for any team. I mean, he could be on the level of Cole Palmer. He's quicker than him. He's and he could do the same stuff. If we're linked with him, he needs to come in for maybe a backup to Salah or Gakpo and challenge these boys. Then you got to think in the top of your head. And I'll say the same later about other players that we might be linked with to come in. But Jota and Luis Diaz could be up for grabs to leave. So if it was my money on anybody, and you can kill me if you want, chat, but I would probably sell Jota because you can get 70 million for him, but you'll only get 20 games a season out of him.
Yeah.
If you're playing all competitions, you're going to need all your players. And if he comes on, and if you do get those 20 games a season, will he get over the 10 to 12 goals? Because he does score goals. He's our best finisher by a country mile. But at the moment, he's too injury prone. He's gone after he plays a maximum of 6 games, 7 games, and he's gone.
And that's probably one of the bearing gripes, really, Kevin. Just let us know your thoughts on Jota as well. It's a great point you raised there, mate, because I think the one thing with Arne coming in that we can all agree, we'll give him time, but I think Arne himself, as we said 2 nights ago, that he's in a position now where he knows himself. We all know that it's not going to happen overnight with any bit of transition and new people coming into different roles as well of any business. It's going to take time to adapt, really, and getting the best out of one another. So in terms of Jota, you just need a bit of, I think the main thing in any business is consistency, Kev. As long as you are consistent, I think that you've got every foundation and good building blocks, really, for 100% to very much elevate the role. But Jota, as he said, last season and probably years, chat, let us know. I know a load of you already know. Check out Jota's, the amount of games he has missed in big moments.
He's missed more games than he's played.
It's like that. I remember that, obviously, the friendly couple of years ago where we played a needless European game. That was probably on Jürgen and the medical staff just to give him a rest. And the one thing is, in relation to Salah, we'll speak about him a bit later. Like, if Salah gets injured next season, and especially in a transitional season with a new manager as well, those goals are going to be needed to get contributed. And if it's not Jota, it's either going to have to come from the likes of Nunes, Gakpo and Diaz, really, Kevin. And if they're not stepping up, that's where I think the difficulties would arise, really.
I think it's a failure for Diaz if he doesn't get over 12 goals this season for Liverpool minimum. You know, including like he should have at least 20 to 22 goal contributions season, regardless of goals and efforts. No, it needs to be more consistent, but he needs to get on the assist trail. It's great dancing around the place and then releasing it to somebody else, but you know, look, Jota's still classed as being in his prime. You know, we could keep pawing it off as being a knock or whatever like that, but you know, he could go. I expect Nunes to have a go this season. Out of all, I know we've been saying that under Klopp, or whatever. I just don't think Klopp's setup suited Nunes. I think it isolated him a bit more. I think not giving the ball early to Nunes going forward is the same thing that we see with Harry Kane and Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's the same. Nunes is just waiting there. He wants to go, except for this time round, it's because of the tactics, trying to do the build-up play and then tap it around the box and pass it at the edge of the box. And then Nunes, by the time he gets there, he's just kind of like stepping back and forth. Where am I going now? Play it to me early where I can do damage. He's a reactionary player. He's not a sit and wait player, you know?
Yeah, to that point, great point you raised there, Kev. Chat us no, I'll ask Kev here now. In terms of saying that, we'll link it to the attacking players. Speaking about Jota as well, a couple of lads in the comments, keep on getting them in. Your thoughts on Jota as well. What would you do with Diogo? Because we all know his talents. He's the goals and everything. He speaks for himself. But
one of my favourite players, man.
Yeah, the one question mark is just injuries, and because when he does get that momentum, and we've already seen his Liverpool career, he's unstoppable. I think every Liverpool fan, when we spoke to one another in the pub or whatnot, you will get back and like he is Liverpool's best finisher in the team by a country mile for me. I think, in all honesty, it is the more natural, gifted finisher within the squad. Closest to Robbie Fowler for me. Just the way in which he finishes, he doesn't need to think about it. It's just little dinks left, right, and centre, and it's nonchalant. Really, he doesn't have to think about it really. But in terms of keeping it on Nunes as well, Kev, try to let us know in terms of getting the best out of Nunes. Then, obviously, who would you anticipate to get the players that we have currently got within our squad? Who have you found in Nunes's time at Liverpool so far to very much fundamentally get the best of his qualities out? I think obviously everyone will pinpoint Trent as well. And obviously other players, I think, as we spoke about this week as well, Robbo, I think, fundamentally could get the best out of Darwin Núñez down that left-hand flank if he's pushed on a bit more. Because I think I've not seen a lot of the African Cup of Nations, but the highlights I've seen is Núñez just under Bielsa, just getting in that side, that 6-yard box, and crosses are coming in, whether that be deep crosses, short crosses. It's a mixture of everything, really. And
look what he did against Man United.
Yeah,
when he scored, because we played the ball in early. We played if Slack comes in and he plays the wingers the way Klopp used to play the wingers with Andy Robertson and Trent. They're two of the most devastating wing backs in the league. He could easily do that if you get the ball to him at his feet. You know, the only, like, I was worried about Gakpo coming into the season, but after seeing him in that tournament, if you play Gakpo to his strength on the left, you're winning all day. So, like, if one of Luis Diaz and Jota goes in the window, I wouldn't be too worried as long as we're bringing in like some sort of replacement. But if you had to count between Jota for 20 games, but 20 to 28 games, but getting 18 to 20 goals, and then you're talking about Diaz, who creates a lot but just has about 4 or 5 assists and about 3 goals, then you're going to have to sell Diaz, because it's just not doing the business there. But at the end of the day, I don't want another injured player. We've dropped out of league runs, and fallen at the last hurdles a couple of times where we didn't come within the 1 point of City because we were dealing with injuries and hanging on to injured players. Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Sturridge at the start, Thiago's that are there. Jota is now on that list. He's the most injury-prone player on the list, along with Kanate. Yeah. So the two guys they're constantly injured now. So for me, we need to get in a player if we want to protect these guys and use them to the best of their abilities. Bring in somebody of a similar ilk that doesn't mind rotating with each other. We have to start using rotation now big time. It can't be a set 11 or a set 14. There has to be a set 17 or whatever like that are ready to go and move into places. That's the only way you're going to do it. But if you're going to do it right and you want to bring in somebody big up front, like a Kudus maybe to back up Salah, or you're actually going to move Harvey into his main position, which is, maybe as a backup to Salah. And if Salah doesn't hit cut the mustard, put Harvey in there. I don't know, but you're going to have to sell somebody big. I wouldn't sell Nunez. I'd probably sell Diaz if it was me.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Chat, keep on getting your comments in. Thoughts on Trossard's injuries. Kev alludes to Ibu there as well. There needs to be serious question marks this season. And that's what happens with new manager. A bit of changing of structuring as well. Players aren't in more favour with Jurgen Klopp. I think, obviously, I've done plenty of shows in the Jurgen Klopp era of the biggest debate amongst Liverpool fans around the world was Klopp a bit too loyal? And on one side, you could say yes, because those players have given so much, like the likes of Robbo, consistently 7 out of 8 out of 10 in his Liverpool career. Obviously, caveated with the odds, little drop performance here and there. But when Robbo has a bad game, it's like, oh, he's had a terrible. It's like, no, hang on. Let's analyse it in its full entirety of his career at Liverpool. He's been one of the most consistent players for Liverpool. So it's going to be one of them. Ibu needs to step up this season. But you never know. Might be just a little change in the medical department, and we come into the new season and next year with no injuries. But that's me being unrealistic in all honesty. We will have an injuries, but making sure the priority, Kev, with Arne Slot is we have the players. None of this reeling off players going, oh, we've got X, Y, and Z. He's going to be good enough. No. We need to fundamentally start at the beginning of the season in the best possible shape, not just for the football club, but mainly for Arne Slot as well. He needs to put his foot down from minute one, and I'm hoping he's done that, Kev. Do you think he's done that? He wouldn't have took over the Liverpool job if he didn't have the backing and understanding, really. He's coming.
I think he has what it takes. I put him 6th on my list. You've seen the list of 10 lads and then the 20 that I put up for the top managers, and he was 6th on my list for that. Because, I was going with the grain as well, but I also wanted to put in a couple of people that were there that could do, that I knew their tactics were good and could do well. And you look at the teams that improved over Europe in the last number of seasons, and Feyenoord is one. Napoli on and off has been another one. You have to look at these guys. And even I was actually, I just seen Michael Corleone FC's message there for the, I think, the one down below it, 2 more down below it. I think you got 5. No, but I get that. Yeah, we got 5 strikers, but the problem is Salah didn't score enough for me in the second half of last season after that injury. Nunez didn't score enough for me in the second half of that injury. That's second half of that season. Diaz didn't score enough. Gakpo wasn't given enough game time, but he started coming good near the end, just in the right time for the Euros. And Jota's just injured all the time. So it's great that we have that number of things, but none of them are given the 20+ goal contributions that you need for the season. So that's the problem.
And if you were to say in 12 months, 24 months, to take Salah out of that equation, your goals and goal contributions, as you said before, Kev, would massively plummet. And we can't be doing that. Coming off the back of losing Jurgen, and then especially if, say, in the future, Van Dijk was to severely drop in terms of his quality as well, we would literally just be Alisson in goal, like trying to defend counter-attacks on his own. He's not Superman. He's Alisson's record, and he tries his best, and then you have people go, oh, you're questioning it. But you can only do what he can do in front of him. Was it 2 years ago, literally? You do watch him every game he plays for Liverpool, and you're like, where would we be without him as well? But good to see
exactly. I think we're more prepared to lose Van Dijk in the future because of how we're setting things up, and especially with Matip leaving, than we are for Salah. Because there's nobody on that right hand side that can devastate. Yeah, we haven't brought anybody in to give him a challenge or to give him a bit of competition, Yeah. So So I think Quansek can come in. He's learning from Van Dijk. I think eventually over the next couple of seasons he could really step up and fill Van Dijk's boots if he dropped off a cliff. But but if there's nobody there that can do what Salah does, and it's going to be hard. It's the same when we lost Steven Gerrard. I mean, Henderson wasn't the same player that he was, but he came in to replace him, or took over from him as a captain. But nobody's there that can do what Salah does. But there is players there around that can be brought in to do it. Yeah,
100%, mate. And chat, we don't want to. It's all right, all of us or every Liverpool fan going, "Oh, we'll place him," but what happens if we don't? That is serious question marks because, as Kev said, a player like Steven Gerrard, he was irreplaceable, and I think Liverpool we're still. At this moment in time, we haven't replaced Gerrard. It's an impossible task in itself, but apart from McAllister's impact on the side, we're already seeing that. So Szoboszlai, mentioned Ibu, I think it's a big season for Szoboszlai. We spoke about 2 nights ago, the 6 being a big priority signing. But if we can get that
I
sorted,
have a lot to talk about that.
Yeah, so we'll speak about that as well a bit later. But yeah, just I hope, fingers crossed. But the track record of Liverpool in certain seasons, when we've needed that just extra 50, £50 million players to get us over the line against City, you just want that. We're not asking for £200 million players, and this is where Jurgen Klopp just needs to just go out in the presser and just say, right, FSG needs it. And but he was too scared to do that. And hopefully Arne Slotter's got a bit more of a backbone, and he doesn't wait until like the 5th season in his Liverpool tenure to go, I'm just here to appease FSG. No, he's there to win. Similar with Jurgen Klopp as well. He was there to win, not to just say, "Oh yes, I'll do that," FSG and all that.
I don't think it's anything got to do with FSG anymore. I think FSG said that's why FSG were going about looking at Bordeaux to buy recently, because they were looking at, right, what can we do now? What next club can we change around? What can we do with this? Because their job is pretty much done as owners. They're kind of stepping away. They've appointed Edwards and Hughes and all of these guys come in and just pull the strings. So I think one of the main aspects for getting Edwards back was that he'd have more control in the club. He wants to be like a CEO type, but he wants to be a CEO of football. He likes the football strategy things. He doesn't care about the shops or the businesses. So they've split the workloads. Michael Edwards now is the CEO of football at the club. So he's the CEO of everything to do with the club and all of that. Whereas, there are going to be other guys that are there that's going to be running all the basic staff and all this kind of stuff. But with him coming back in there, if there's 190 million to spend, he's look at his data, he'll look at whatever, and he'll say, okay, this window we need to spend 170. No, but maybe, or this window we only need to spend 50 or 60 because this is what we need, this is what we need, this is what we need. So he's already done the math. We can sit here and dream and wish to say, well, let's just buy these players for the sake of it. But he's already done his homework a long time ago. Yeah. He said himself he was disappointed with the work, with some of the signings that we got in his absence. That was there. And he said he's not up to scratch, but he's going to try and make it work. But look, Hughes is in there now to do his whole job that was there. So he's the liaison really with. It's him working alongside in tandem with Arne Slot. But then it's what you call it, the sanctions are all off, and Hughes comes to Edwards with the data. They both sit down, they go through it, and then we're all good that way. So it's all easy peasy, man. These boys know what they're doing. We know that there was £190 million minimum in the kitty outside other money because of where we finished, what we're doing. Whether we'll ever spend that, I don't know. But I can see us spending the bones of 120, 130 million, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
We've
still got that size out on money, haven't we? Because there's no way we put a false bid in. Like, could you imagine John's going, hang on, why is 100 million just come out of my bank account, please? Or the FSG going, we spent it on. But yeah, good to see a couple of new faces in there. Big up to Michael as well. A couple of new faces. And Callum as well. Is it Afro? Sorry, mate. Afro, sorry. Big up, mate.
Afropia.
Yeah, big up there, mate. William Pacho, Edison, and Pedro Neto as well. Yeah, Pedro Neto.
Edison's a good show.
Yeah, one of the most exciting since he's come into the Premier League as well with Wolves. I think the one thing with Neto, it's his bad injuries in which he's had over the last 2-3 year campaign. I think if he didn't have those injuries, I think certainly he would have got a move to the likes of
Wolves, isn't it? Wolves are great players, but they injure them all.
Yes.
Neves, Jota, Neto. I know he's kind of getting a bit
yeah. But yeah, certainly a little good player anyway. Neto. I thought before we got Jota, I looked at that. I was looking at that team a couple of years ago. I was like, oh, I'd love Neto, but we went and got Jota. So the data lads, as Kev said, Pacho, is the Ecuadorian? Is the Ecuadorian centre half? Plays for Frankfurt. I know, but as I said, I'm not going to sit here and say I've seen a lot of Frankfurt because he haven't, but he's one name that has certainly been on everyone's radar in relation to centre halves as well. Very quick by all accounts when you look at his data, one of the quickest centre halves in the whole of Europe anyway, so you could understand why he might potentially be.
He's got nuts assists as well, you know that.
Yeah, so he's
so he's 93 percentile for assists.
Was he out for the centre
Yeah,
half? Not
the
too
centre
bad.
half. That's good.
And that is exactly what we get from Virgil van Dijk as well, Kev, which will lead us in perfectly as well. Like what Virgil and even Matip to an extent, stepping into those little pockets of space, whether that be in and around the penalty area or in behind the defensive line of an opposition team. It's going to be one of them. So good shouts there, Afro. Big up, mate. Good to see a new face in there as well. And to all the regulars, welcome. Or if you are watching after the show, big up to you as well. Most importantly, you as well had a very good day on looking after one another as well. Right through all these comments. Wiggs has said Diaz out of the whole line is the one that should be sold. He's just not the winger Mane was. It's a bit like Gerrard replacing him. Salah, when it eventually comes, when we need to replace him, sometimes you just can't replace. Even look at Fabinho. Like, we'll do a specific DM show this week as well. Me and Kev will do our little research, and I'd say to use chat as well when we do that show this week. Just have a little list of like potential DMs. I know a lot of people have mentioned Edison and a couple of other players as well, but if you've got any other like players outside the box that you'd like to recommend, and we'll have a little look on the show as well this week. If you drop a name in the chat as well, we'll have a little look at the data and the FB ref stuff and that. So we'll have a little analyze of it on.
I've got a few of them lined up here and ready to go as well.
So we'll do that this week as well. And Diaz, but 100% there. Wiggs, Callum, double Palace raid as would be good, but it'd probably come at probably about 100 million for both of them.
I do need Gahey more than Eze. I'm not bothered about Eze, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them. I think if we didn't have Szoboszlai, we'd probably go for a player like Eze, and Harvey Elliott as well. Let's not forget we've got it.
Unless Eze plays on the right and takes on Mo Salah.
Potentially.
You know,
I would have loved Elise. You've done plenty of shows with you over the years, Kev, as well. I'm seeing big up there, Andrew. How are we, lads? Seeing Real Madrid interested in Trent. There's no way he goes to Madrid. Yes, no chance, mate. It's all about the rumours. And as you said, you're going to see enjoy Deadpool, lads. Hopefully, have a good time there, mate. And Matthias, I know there's a new system in place with further planning to reduce the numbers of injuries for next season. Edwards doesn't leave anything to coincidence as
Meticulous.
well. Yeah, 100%. Wiggs, Ibu's injury record at Leipzig wasn't great, to be honest. But we need centre halves that aren't made of biscuits. But Kev, the week 10.
I'm going to hashtag meticulous Mike for Edwards.
Yeah. Have Liverpool been kind of responsible for turning players into biscuits, like their legs into biscuits, because the amount of intensity that is required from Jurgen Klopp's football?
No. Even saying that there's quite intense training that Jurgen Klopp had for a while, but we remember for a long time we had 0 injuries. Like there was hardly anybody got injured except for the same trio all the time, which was Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and then when Thiago came, it was him eventually. But our Sturridge when he was there beforehand, and then you'd have Lallana in there with the injuries, very similar. But all of these guys were always injury prone. So, like Salah got his first big major injury last January or whatever it was, and he was out for 3 months of November, and he was out until January for 3 months. And we wonder why he wasn't scoring like 10 or 15 goals for the rest of the season. It's because, he was injured. It's his first big injury. He's still getting over it. It was a hamstring thing, You could see what it means to him because these guys really look after themselves. You look at Leo Messi in the Copa America the other night. His foot's
bigger than the River Mersey.
Elephant foot, man. It's his first major big injuries that you get, and you're just like, it could be almost career ending, So he could have been told about that before, which is probably why he slowed down. That there's something.
He still got his left foot, though, Kev. I'll tell you what, he's better than certainly Harry Maguire on 1 foot anyway.
Oh, yeah. He could hop rings around him. But it's, but look, it all depends really, man. We're lucky in a way that we don't, it's the same kind of injuries. Curtis Jones gets quite a few injuries as well in his time. The weird calf strains of tears, or he had an eye issue for a while.
Which was strange, wasn't it?
That was a weird one. Ibu's always the same, and it's always the ankle of the calf. It's there. Thiago just had no legs left by the end of it. The Jota's the same in the same area. So I don't know. You could see. I said it for a long time that Joe Gomez was never injury prone. He just had a problem with 2 big bad injuries, And the fact that he got over them and came back and had the season that he did last season, he played a hell of amount of games last season, Joe, compared to comparison to the seasons before. So Williams. Oh yeah, Williams could be an instant improvement. Yeah, if he's a 50-60 million with Biocas and Barcelona's looking for Diaz, we could sell Diaz easy for 70-80 million to Barca really, really quickly.
Oh, Michael, I don't know. Michael, no chance, lad. No.
Who would you take in Southgate? No, God, no. Absolutely not. He would definitely turn Nunes into Kane then for England. Just telling him
just wait for the year that they appoint Southgate as the Man United manager. It was rumours, was it last month?
Until the man did an extension, till Ten Hag did an extension, but extensions mean nothing these days. It gets you a few weeks' wages until you're fired. But it's and much younger than But look, there's a lot of talk about this with Diaz and stuff. We don't know if Gakpo is going to have the same form coming into Liverpool either. I'm hoping that he does. Play him on the left and keep him on the left. I've always said I hate him through the centre. I know he's capable of scoring goals, but I don't like the way he plays through the centre. I think he's a bit standoffish. At least with Nunes, the runs are being made and stuff, but Gakpo drops back a lot for me. So either play him in left attacking midfield role or play him in left winger role. Just leave him out there. Don't do anything else.
Yeah.
I said Zubimendi on the podcast today, Tony.
Big up, Tony.
Yeah, I said Zubimendi there, and then Owen surprised me with a really lovely one because I rate him highly, but I don't think it was viable because of Xabi Alonso, but it was Palacios.
Thought you didn't say Granit Xhaka.
No. Palacios he's probably got the best stats in the thing, and we were going over it again when I was talking today. But it was always in the back of my mind without putting him on my list is because Alonso said he didn't want to lose his core 7 players for the club, but he also can't do anything about a player turning around and saying that he wants to leave or wants to go somewhere, so that's not down to the club, it's not down to him, it wouldn't be breaking any promises, so it could happen if he said returned. But Palacios or who's the other guy? I forget who it is. The midfield. Oh, Neves. Yeah.
João Neves.
Yeah.
So I think he's been linked to PSG, but PSG are linked with everyone because they can
it'd be Neves or Palacios for me as well. Yeah, I'd agree. So
could be one of them as well, Tony. But good shout, mate. We'll have to add that to the list this week as well, mate.
Is a good shout, yeah.
Good shout there. So you have to remind us on that show, on the show coming up this week, mate. 100%. And he pocketed England. Literally, everyone, the England fans. Everyone's like, "Oh, Rodri's gone off sound." Nah, it's a Spanish conveyor belt of top talent. Whether that be in the defence, midfield, and the attack, they just go, "Yes, sounds Rodri's gone, but we'll just unleash this fella," and he just come on like a duck to water. Really, he didn't look out of place.
Yeah.
But it goes criticism about Diaz, Nico shows. It's the thing, though, Michael. He's a lot more younger, though, Nico. But obviously, with your earlier comments as well before, recency biased. I think every football fan has that, don't they? I think off the back of any tournament, as the El Hadj Diouf, we signed him off a tournament as well, and we know how that panned out. But I think every top team's done that at certain moments in their club career. And main thing is we don't get drawn into that. How are we, Zuki lad? Yes, la. Hope you're good, fella. AC Milan struggling to meet the 30 valuation for Farner. Oh, there we go, Kev.
That was my dude for like the last 3 years. I was like, get that guy in. You get him for like 20, 25, 30, 25 million pounds, I said. And I'm spot on, 30 million euro evaluation.
Yeah.
How good player. I don't know how we didn't when we were in desperate need.
There must be something within his game that the data lads are just analysing it and go and just wouldn't quite work. But you never know. I think it was a Forest last year or the year before.
He was a better version than Sangare, and he's way better version than him. So
yeah, 100%. Supermendy looks smooth, good player, mate. Not too bad, lad. Not too bad. Of your well, lad. Big up Spider. Big up there, mate. Thriller say he looks like the kickboxer. There we go. Tell you
That's Van Damme's one of my favorite all-time movie action stars. I've got his whole collection here somewhere behind me.
Yeah, big up there, Thriller. To get to the last comments, and we'll go straight on to the Virgil van Dijk section, and we'll speak a little, talk about Big Virgil. We signed off an international tournament. He stayed for 5 years now, doesn't play football anyways. It's one of them, Anthony. Every club's done one or two signings.
Brian Babel, we did.
No. Shout out. He made his career off just doing that little tweet. Didn't he?
Divock Origi, we did it off a tournament. He turned out to be a bit of a legend for us, in fairness. He's a cult hero, you know what I mean? So.
It was worth the 10, 15 million, whatever it was, a year just for the Derby goals. Yeah, you could just cash the goals in anyway. Virgil van Dijk, chat, we'll go straight into it. I want to talk tonight, really, in terms of, we'll speak about our DM, and we spoke about it 2 nights ago, about certain positions having a much more detrimental impact on the overall system and how, obviously, Arne and pre-Jurgen Klopp wanted to play as well. Fundamentally, I spoke to you last year, and I think when we've done shows as well, chat, I went into, was it last year or the year before? I went into that season with a lot of optimism. Probably too much optimism, really, but that's what we do. We back our lads, come rain or shine. I felt at that, and going into the season, if Virgil has 90% plays to his full potential, we will be in a title race. But obviously, that's quite difficult, like putting that much pressure on a player. But he's one of those players, Kev, a bit like Salah. If he's at his game, he's capable of winning league titles, winning trophies, and certainly he's done that at Liverpool so far, caveated with a lot of other big performances from his teammates. He now, with the Dutch manager, obviously Arne coming in, Arne Slot coming in, Kev, the levels and from Virgil are looking to this season need to be cranked up a lot more. Is he capable of reaching those levels? I know that's probably a silly question for me because we all hope he is. But there's games, not that I'm questioning, don't think anyone's questioning his qualities, but there's certain games where you're looking at him going, oh, is age kind of creeping in, or do you think it's just been a case of him not having the protection of an old Fabinho, old school Fabinho, and the lads in front of him just to allow? Fundamentally, I think we mentioned with Pacho, he's got a good percentage of his assists. Virgil, I miss those spraying diagonal balls where Virgil gets on the ball and dictates the tempo. It's not just Alisson, it's Virgil at the back. It was Matip at the back, but he's gone now. The responsibility of how do you gauge Virgil going into this season and the new Arne Slot era?
Yeah, look, it for me, Virg, Virg can't do everything himself, man. When he came into the team, we started building that spine. He had Fabinho in front of him. He played a big aspect in how Virg was able to play and relax and look well. And Fabinho, as much as we gave him credit for being a really, really good DM, wasn't given enough credit for how much he benefited Virgil van Dijk. So I think he needs somebody like that again in front of him. I think he needs that cover where he doesn't have to be worried about. He wants to look to the centre of the park to the right. He doesn't want him to be worried about that area. He shouldn't have to worry about that area. A lot of the goals you see is when the ball kind of comes past him this way, falls to somebody who scores on the goal, and then he's just like, okay. And you see him put his arms out, like, where was the person that was meant to be here? Or where was the person that was stuck back post because Trent, that was here, because then Trent had to tuck in to make sure nothing happened, and then we were left open at the back. So it 150% comes down to what happens with the DM. And you need a good DM sitting in front of that thing, so that area alone, that diamond part of that area in between Virg and his partner and whoever's in front of him, doesn't have to do much of anything, so except for only deal with what's in front of him, what's to the side of him, and their position. That's a deadly area for a centre back, is right in that area. So
yeah, and even the Trent conundrum that we do find ourselves in, it's this notion of playing him in this inverted six or whatever. As I said 2 nights ago, I think Arnie's going to come in and go, right, Trent, you're playing right back, son, and we're going to get the best out of you playing right back. And then if we are in a position, say in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, where we've got a bit more license to play around with the formations and the system, if we keep on continuous, because it's a lot more easier in hindsight where you are winning games, you're picking up 3 points every single week. But when it push comes to shove, really, hits the fan, really, you need to be getting the maximum from the manager, from the players as well, and the whole ethos of the football club as well needs to be pulling in one direction as well. But 100% agree with you there, Kev, in terms of the importance of 6. It was the biggest question in Jurgen Klopp's back end of his career at Liverpool. I just don't know why it wasn't identified. I think we all seen it coming with Fabinho. We knew he was going to hit that I don't think we all anticipated the sheer drop off with Fabinho, Kev, but it's one of them where you need to prioritize Salah down the road as well. But it's one of them.
Yeah, no, look, I said it from day one. We all want to see Trent in that midfield. Trent had great positional sense. He had great passing in the Euros in that midfield area. He did what a midfielder is supposed to do. Trent's biggest problem was having Harry Kane in front of him. Harry Kane was squishing Trent into corners sometimes because he kept dropping back too much. Whereas Trent would turn, he would receive the ball, he would look for Harry Kane, and Harry Kane is just strolling back in front of the defender, getting ready where he could do the next 1-2, laying it off, back to Rice, back to Trent, and not looking for the running behind. And but I still think Trent and Szoboszlai can play in that same position on that right hand side of that midfield. I think they can rotate well. I think Szoboszlai still needs to prove himself, and I think that Trent could easily. The two guys have great right foots, but I think for different styles and different games, they can come on. I'm saying it, and I'm saying it now. I want to see rotation within the team. I want to see a couple of key players like we used to with Liverpool with a spine and whatnot playing in the team that directly either. But I'd like to see more rotation with some of the players that are in certain positions. You know, when Henderson was in, I wanted to see, as much as you need him on the pitch, when you see that he's struggling for a week or so, you get him out of there, you put somebody else in there that can do the work for the next 2 weeks or so, and then leave Trent get back to, or let Hendo get back to, basically comes back a stronger player. It's not about being dropped, it's not about being anything, it's about playing the game the way it's supposed to be played and having the right squad for it. We haven't been able to do that in a while, and I want to see a squad to do it. I want to see somebody to come in. I don't want to say we've got Darwin Núñez. I want to say we've got Darwin Núñez and, you know, I want to say we've got Gakpo and Luis Diaz. We've got also to back up to, we've got Jota to come in when he's available. You know, on the right hand side, I want to say we have Salah and whoever, you know, and there, and where McAllister is, I want to say, oh yeah, well we can say that now. We've got McAllister, we've got Jones, and we've got Gravenberch. We don't need anything else there on that side. We need the right side lifted up. With Harvey Elliott can come in and do the jobs there, but I'd rather see Harvey go up and back up Salah and let them rotate. You know, so I'd see.
We've done plenty of shows, mate. Every Liverpool fan has one on their channels as well. And probably discussing, it's about getting that right blend, as Kev's alluded to there, like getting that right balance. I think I
just want to see Trent defending. I want to see Trent covering. I don't want to see him defending unless he's an actual defender. So,
like as I said, we spoke about Szoboszlai as well. Like, that's why it didn't work. Trent was getting into the same areas of space Szoboszlai was getting into, and we could all see it. Apart from like Jurgen Klopp and the technical side, it's not going to work. Fair enough. If you're going to do it, then compact that right-hand side, allow Trent to push up, but allow, if Endo was playing that right-hand side of midfield free, just cover the space and even play Bajcetic. Obviously, Bajcetic was injured, but the balance is key. And I think fundamentally, as Kev alluded to at the top of the show, Arne Slot 100% has already been watching this Liverpool side. He know exactly what he wants to do. Identify the issues as well and hope to rectify them as well.
It's in Joe Neves 45 million.
I think his buyout. Weeks or chat, let us know what the Joe Neves is. I think it was it 100 million or something crazy euros? Like his buyout.
It's Palacios. It's Palacios for 70 million euro.
Yeah, it's the Portuguese clubs. Fair enough, because the likes of Chelsea and other clubs in Europe, like the PSGs as well. Like, fair enough from these, but like the Portuguese teams or any team for that matter, really, that wants to sell their star asset and they put silly, ridiculous FIFA-ish, football manager-ish buyout clause in the contracts. And then you got like a team like Chelsea going, oh yeah, we'll have him for 115 million. Enzo, and we've already, for Chelsea, very good player. Give him a 10-year contract or whatever it was. But no play in the right mind unless you're buying prime Pele, Maradona, Messi, Cristiano, R9.
And he's an absolute racist, father. Did I see that? The songs. Did I see it?
Oh, no, that was terrible.
He's done terrible. Terrible. Had to be said. Terrible choice. Terrible choice.
That was the song thing. I didn't see it. Yeah. So, probably not the best player to pick. But, obviously, Caicedo as well, £100 million. It's crazy. The transfer fees in today's market are an absolute joke in terms of you do not get value for money unless you've got Michael Edwards and the boys running your football club as well. As a controller, how did Wasn't too bad, Kev. Did you see
He's
a lot
good,
of him?
yeah. The only problem with Fabiano Ruiz, you could actually bring him in as the 6, but he's very Marco Grujic-esque in the way he plays, but he can do the job there, you know. I like Olmo as well. Somebody mentioned Olmo earlier in the thing, but doesn't he play more left-hand side of the midfield rather than the right? If he did, you could probably bring him in and then, do the business. Look, that's about Trent Alexander-Arnold. If something happens and he goes somewhere, we'll miss his right foot. We'll miss the fact that he's a Scouser. But outside of that, we've got Conor Bradley in the right back on you. So, that's why I want to see Trent further forward. If we've got Conor Bradley right back and he's going to be a right back on forward, I wouldn't be worried. I think he's a fantastic player. And I think he's a fantastic player and trying to be missed. But it's coming down to the nitty-gritty of who's going to suit slot and who's going to benefit, which players can see that they mightn't work in the system, which players are going to see. And there might be a couple of surprises that are leaving. There might be a couple of surprises that are coming in. But I wouldn't put it past. If there's concrete evidence, he'll either stay, he'll either put the feelers out there to say he wants to go and he wants to feel wanted by Slot and given guarantees. That's what Trent is looking for. Because I don't think he really wants to leave Liverpool. I think he'll only leave is if Slot kind of like says, well, look, it's not out to me. You just have to prove yourself. Then he's going to kind of say, right, I don't feel kind of secure here, and he might go. That's the only reason.
100% now. We'll round up now, mate, as well. 100%. Chat, if you've got any more questions or whatnot, please do leave them in the comment section below. Me and Kev will be getting my act together this week. 2 more shows. I need to. I do enjoy them as well. But yeah, so we're doing a 6 show this week as well. As I said on my post, do get involved in Kev's posts on his channel as well, on the social tab. Very much so. And make sure you do head over. I get Kev to shout out all the socials at the end of this as well, where you can find him. You can probably find
Spider!
Yeah, on your season. There we go. But grab and bitch, quickly rattle through all these. But if you've got a question or whatnot, we'll be live tomorrow as well. Gravenberch feels like one we could easily sell. I'm not sure where he fits in. So it's up to Arne to very much get the best out of him, mate. 120 million. Yeah, it's crazy. Just modern day football is crazy. Breaking news. Yeah, bonkers. Don't believe that.
I just
we'll probably see the contract agreement for Liverpool, mate. Probably sign a new 5-year deal. It'll be buzzing. It's his club, but we'll see.
He knows there's a couple of years left for Virg to be, at his peak, and he's going to drop out, and you'll see that he'll be taking over the captain's armband, and he'll have a good 6-7 years as a Liverpool captain eventually. So he's got a look. Gerrard and him has to be in his ear saying, regardless of wherever you go, it's not going to feel the same as what it is with winning with Liverpool. You can go to Real Madrid and do your superstardom and do whatever, but as I said at the top of the show, I don't like what I see from Jude Bellingham lately in his attitude in bits and pieces. So I'd rather see Trent stay who he is.
Stay here, lad. Kev, massive thank you as always, mate, for coming on. Just shout out where everyone can find you, mate, if you're streaming or whatnot on all your other platforms this week. Please do shout out. Massive thank you for coming on, man.
Right, I don't know whether I'll do one from midnight tonight, but there's No Way. What's the game name again? No Way to Die or something like that. It's called. It's out tonight anyway, but it's about it's a detective game, and it's based in a futuristic kind of 1930s style place. So it's really cool, but it's a big long story thing, and you have to do detective stuff and study and do all that. I'll be doing that tonight, having a bit of a chit chat while talking to chat. You'll find that on Irish Spider Guy on YouTube and on Twitch. You'll find it at Spider on Facebook. Also, my own channel is Spider LFC everywhere else for the football stuff. You find me on Twitter. And lads, if any of you are on TikTok, can you give me a follow on TikTok? Because I'm trying to get over 1,000 so I can go live. I'd appreciate that. Cheers.
Hey, what are you going to be streaming, lad?
No way to... What am I calling it? No Way to Die. What's it called?
No, on TikTok.
10 minutes. Anything at all. Nobody Wants to Die. That's what it is. Nobody Wants to Die.
Right. But chat, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in. As I said, most importantly, have a lovely rest of your evening and go and smash tomorrow, whatever you're doing. or whatnot. And yeah, look forward to it. Look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Thank you, Kev, for coming on. And most importantly, thank you to everyone that is tuned in tonight. To all the new faces as well, and all the regulars. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and we will see you tomorrow at 6. Might be 6, or I'll let you know in the community tab, but it'll be in and around 6 to 6:30. Anyway, yeah, I can't count to that far anyway, Kev. So that's,
I was just doing the Jurgen Klopp thing in the back of the bus.
I can barely count to 7. So right.
That's my channel. I just called it out there, Michael. So it's I called it out. It's Irish Spider Guy on Twitch and YouTube is where you'll find me there for the game and stuff, and Spider LFC for the football stuff.
Yeah, so there you go. Chat. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Thank you for all tuning in. Kev, absolute legends. And we'll see you tomorrow at 6.
Yes, yeah.
If it can count to 6, if that's what it says. But chat, see you later. Have a lovely rest of your evening. And you'll never walk alone. So.